The views expressed are not those of local community broadcasting, WYML LP, or its management, volunteers, or underwriters. In continuing our conversation about the Explorer program of yesterday producing the leaders of today, I have CEO Mitch Dicker of Clowning Around Celebration Authority. You may remember him from our Memorial Day weekend broadcast. We talked about summer safety, carnival safety, rides, that type of thing. Mitchell was also a police explorer with me back in the 1990s. Mitchell, welcome to the show again.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me back. The 1990s, like the Stone Age, but anyhow.
It is the Stone Age. I want to tell our listeners that Mitch got the nickname of the Lone Ranger. Mitch, can you tell everyone how you got that nickname?
I was in with the FBI Academy in Washington, D.C., and we did FATS training, F-A-T-S, and there was simulation video. I think at that time it was actually a video, and it was on a screen, and what happened was it was actually a mistake. I drew my gun really quick, and I shot the person, the bad guy's hand, and he shot the gun out of his hand at like 0.1 seconds or 0.2 seconds, and it was a mistake. So I said the Lone Ranger right when I did it. It was a giggle and a laugh, but it probably shouldn't have happened. It was a mistake, but it was fun. You could still call me the Lone Ranger if you want. I think anybody even knows what that is nowadays.
True. And the funny thing is they dismissed you from the range after that because it was FBI is kind of serious. So we were explorers. In your own words, can you tell our listeners, what is the Explorer program? What was it to you through your lens?
It's spectacular. It's changed my life. It built my whole life, my career, my occupation, my business. The Boy Scouts, the Explorer program is an awesome program that really teaches today's youth and yesterday's youth and hopefully tomorrow's youth, but teaches them about interests that they could possibly have, careers that they could possibly have or not have, and really shapes them and can really help them be a leader, teaches them leadership skills, teaches them lots of extracurricular activity skills that they don't get at school. So it's a lot like a program that you would have at school, like if a child did a sport or something like that. But I really want to tell people and explain to them that it really focuses on leadership. Help me learn what leadership skills I had or at the time didn't have, and help really flourish the different things so I can become the leader that I am today.
Thank you, Mitchell. You talked about leadership opportunities. I know at one point you led the post, you led the area as well as the EPA EOA president. Can you go into that and how it led you to your current business?
Thanks to Marcus, I really was, and actually one of our advisor was Walter Trenadu. They really allowed me the opportunity to become a leader. When I first started the Exploring program, I had no clue, no idea. I don't know the right word to use, but I was really clueless with very little direction. I mean, not to make myself sound so goofy, but I really didn't have much direction and really didn't understand that I had the potential to be a leader. With the help and leadership and the guidance of Wally and Marcus and the whole Explorer program and the post, they let me try to be a leader and started as the vice president of the post and the president of the post. Allowed me the opportunity to take charge and do different things at the post level. And then, as Marcus said, the EPA, the EOA, Explorer Officers Association, it helped me to become president of that, which was all the leaders in all the different posts, career like the aviation, law enforcement, fire, become a leader and really explore all the different posts and go to their meetings. So the leadership opportunity was amazing.
Can you tell our listeners about how this interest in entertainment started through the Explorer program? When
I did the EOA, as I said before, I went to lots of the different meetings. I want to say all of them, but I'm sure there's some that I missed. I went to lots of the different careers, different occupations, all the different Explorer posts that were available to different youth throughout the northwest suburbs. One of the posts actually was a clown post. And I went to the meeting and there was clowning there and I learned about the post and I was like, wow, that's really cool. One, it was a great opportunity for a job that was fun. And two, it was just really, really interesting. And I found it fun to learn different skills that they taught at that post. Actually ended up going to the next meeting and the third meeting and so on and so forth until I actually became a member. From there, I learned about different skills and different things in the entertainment industry. which is my career today, which I'll talk about later. But that's how I found entertainment interesting, and it was all through exploring.
What skills did you pick up with the Clown Explorer post?
Clown Explorer post really focused on clown skills, and a lot of people think, well, what skills do a clown have? So it really broke the skills up into different categories. You would almost have like lesson plans that were not written, but some of the skills were like balloon animals, where they taught you how to take the balloons, like that people make animals out of, so they're 2 inches in diameter and 60 inches long, and you twist them into different shapes, like dogs, hats, giraffes, swords, butterflies, bunny rabbits. And then you learn how to do like face painting, how to interact with kids and do magic shows, where they taught you how to do the tricks, but also how to really have stage presence and how to do a magic show in front of the kids as a clown, how to do walk around magic, what you do as a clown in a parade, clown makeup, clown costume, just all around clowning. And we'd volunteer as a post, and we'd go to hospitals and nursing homes, parades together. It was really, really fun, and it was the polar opposite in the sense of what we were doing. As far as a law enforcement post, it was a lot less serious, but we actually did a lot of the same types of events and programs with law enforcement and clowning. So even though it was different in a lot of ways, there was many similarities. And one of those similarities that's across the board, and is definitely a common denominator with all exploring, is the potential and the possibility for leadership roles.
Can you share any lighthearted stories that you remember? I know it was decades ago, that would be encouraging to someone who's interested in going into an Explorer program or already in an Explorer program.
I will say with the utmost confidence that I cannot tell people enough that it's absolutely life-changing, life-altering, the best experience, in my opinion, that absolutely, positively any youth could have. If you live in an area or community and they have an Explorer program, I would absolutely find a program that you're interested in. If it's not law enforcement, maybe it's fire, maybe it's another interest, or even if it's something you're not sure you want to do, it's a great opportunity. But one of the great privileges that I had as a law enforcement explorer is they had a program where they invited 41 participants in the United States, the whole country. They invited, or you had to apply, and it was a very long process to apply. You had to write essays and letters and get letters of recommendation. And they looked at your leadership skills as an explorer. And at that time, I was already the Explorer Officers Association president. I was the post president, and on many other positions and awards that I've obtained through exploring. And they did a process where they picked 41 people. And luckily, I was one of the 41 people. And it was in Washington, D.C. It was the FBI's National Academy through the Explorer program. So we had 10 full days, and it was fully paid. We stayed in the dorms at George Washington University, and we were in Washington, D.C., we were in Quantico, Virginia, we were all over there, and we saw FBI, we went to the training at the DEA, ATF, we had great speakers, we had lunch with, at the time, the director of the FBI was William Sessions, we had lunch with William Sessions, and the training through the FBI, DEA, ATF, it was absolutely, totally amazing. And from the eyes of my parents, they said that when I left to the academy and I came back 10 days later, I was a changed and new person. I was different in a positive way. It was a positive difference, but I just had a much more serious, positive mental attitude on life, much more direction, and just really any skills I had as a leader that Explorers gave me that really fine-tuned everything. And I don't know if it really just so much as fine-tuned, but really gave me the confidence that I needed to be a leader and really to move on in the next part of my life and be successful.
So let's go back to college days. Where did you go? What did you major in?
Back in the Stone Age again. So I went to Northeastern Illinois University in Chicago on the north side. I went there. That's where I got my degree in special education with emphasis in learning disabilities and behavior disorders with a minor in psychology. So I thought I was going to be a teacher.
Why did you not become a teacher?
The reason I didn't become a teacher was, even though I loved education and loved teaching the kids and I loved student teaching and I loved the observational hours, I loved clowning and entertainment and special events more. And the real focus when I first started, I was doing a lot of educational clown shows and this Make a Clown programs where I talked about how people can look different, but on the inside we're all the same. And I really thought that I was affecting more people. If I was at a school in one classroom, I'd really interact with that one classroom and affect that one school or that one classroom. And I thought with entertainment and doing clowning and special events, I would just have an opportunity to make a lasting impact on more people than I would if I was an educator.
I also know that you've done shows or events with organizations such as Misericordia and other events that help children and adults with developmental disabilities. So that is always greatly appreciated. One of the things that you did back in the day, and I found this very, very interesting, when a child sees a clown, they don't understand that there's a human being in there. They think a clown is a part of a different species, I guess. That's the best way I can say it from a child's mind. You had a program where you would go into classrooms and schools dressed as yourself, not as a clown, and have the kids put makeup on your face, dress you, not undress you because that would be inappropriate, but dress you and that type of thing. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Absolutely. So that was, I said a few seconds ago, I said designing the clown. It was actually called the Make a Clown program. That's probably one of my favorite things I did as a clown or as an entertainment company. The Make a Clown program was just like you said. I'd go into a classroom or to a school. Typically, I tried to make the groups about 20 to 50 students, depending on the dynamics of the school and the classroom. But I'd go into the room dressed in my regular everyday clothes with a bag, so they couldn't tell what was going to happen. They had no idea that at the end I'd walk out as a clown. I would be a person. I'd sit down on a chair in front of the room. I would talk to the kids about clowns and about shows and how sometimes people put on costumes for Halloween and how sometimes people look different, whether it's a different color or a different sex or different race or whatever it could be or may be. But on the inside, we're all the same. And that's how the program started. I'm sure in today's world, it would be tweaked and a little bit different. But when I did it then, that's the story and that's what I said. And that was the premise of the whole show. And what I would have the youngsters do is come up, and I had face paints that were shaped like crayons, and they were makeup crayons, and they would come up and I'd say, you could put whatever you want on my face. You could draw a star, a smiley, a dot, a circle, a line, whatever you'd like. You pick the color. And every child in the room obviously went quick because small children have not very long attention spans. They would put a little dot or circle, or at the end of the time they drew on my face, I had scribbles and scrabbles all over my face, which is totally cool because to them it was fun and different and silly and colorful. And then I would put on my clown wig and I'd put my clown costume on right over my clothes. And I would do a little magic show for the kids. And at the end of the show, Mitch, who came into the room and dressed as a regular dressed person, left as Dweedle the Clown. That was my clown name, Dweedle, Dweedle. And I'd be Dweedle the Clown, did a magic show. I'd make all the kids balloon animals. And at the end of the show, they would actually be dancing with the clown that they just created. Chicken dance and hokey pokey and Macarena. I don't know if I could still dance like that anymore, but in those days I danced. So it was lots of fun.
That's a weird name, Dweedle the Clown. How did that come to be?
I called my sister a dweeb. How appropriate that is. I called my sister that, and my dad trying to imitate me, he said Dweed. So there it goes. The name Dweedle was created. So I was Dweedle the Clown. And in the beginning, I used that name, and I just stuck with it. I remember I'd answer my phone at home, and I would get so upset with my mom if she would say, Mitch will call you back. I said, no, do not tell anybody Mitch. I have to be professional and in character at all times. If anybody calls or if it's about clowning around, I'm Dweedle the Clown. So I was Dweedle the Clown, and nobody even knew my first name. I stayed in character, and it was just my clown name that I used forever and ever.
I remember being at your house, and in your kitchen, you had two rotary phones right next to each other. One was the business line, and one was the home line. And I remember your dad answering the business line, hello, and you getting a little bit upset with him and saying, I'm not going to use the real words, but he said, answer the phone like this, clowning around, you jerk. So the phone rang again, and he goes, clowning around, you jerk.
Yeah. I remember a long time ago, but I do remember that better than some of the other stories I told. I absolutely remember that. We did have two phones. I don't even think people know what rotary phones are anymore. But
it's very interesting to me how police officers deal with clowns all day long, and I say that to be funny. And that's what they call some of the people that they interact with and arrest. Look, I arrested this clown. Here we are. The police officers handle people maybe on the worst day of their life, because you don't call 911 to grab a Starbucks with a cop. You call 911 when you're in trouble or somebody else is in trouble. And it's the worst day of their life. So I find it very interesting how you had the same experiences as I did, maybe a little bit more because of the clown thing, and you decided to interact with people not on the worst day of their life, but on the best day of their life. Weddings, bar mitzvahs, company picnics, fun events. So I have to salute you for really taking what could have been a career with a lot of negative interactions into a career with nothing but positive interactions. Mitch, how big is your company?
Clowning Around Celebration Authority, we have over 100 people that we keep busy on payroll throughout the year. We do about 3,000 parties a year and all different types of corporate events. So the 37 trucks that go out and do events all the time.
In reference to other entertainment companies, are you the largest in the state, largest in the Midwest, largest in the world?
So we are the largest in the Midwest, and we're the second largest company in the country doing what we do.
I didn't know that second part. I knew the first part. This is something that Mitchell created from nothing. He had a desk in his parents' basement. He started to buy kids' costume characters and really developed this fantastic business. When he grew to, he needed to have a double booking, 2 clowns at one show or 1 clown at 2 shows. He asked his dweeb sister, and I say that to be funny. He asked his sister, she became Mimi the clown. And then he asked his girlfriend, who's now his wife. And the 4th person he asked was me. So yes, I was a professional clown. A lot of people don't know that in the firearms industry, but it makes sense because I also DJ'd with Mitch. I learned from Mitch. I learned from another gentleman, Ken Goodstat. If someone wanted to learn more about your company, or if they had an event that they're going to be planning, how would they go about seeking out your services?
The best thing would be for them to go to our website, which is celebrationauthority.com, celebrationauthority.com, and they can learn about services. No more Skippy the Clown. Skippy the Clown retired, Marcus. That's you. But if they want anything else, then we'd be happy to help.
We're talking about entertainers. We're talking about clowning. Can you explain some of the other things you have? Casino nights, tables, chair rentals, that type of stuff.
You can explain it probably as well as I can, it sounds like. But yeah, all the casino equipment, craps tables, blackjack tables, roulette tables, all the fun food machines like popcorn, snow cones, cotton candy, soft pretzels, nachos, and cheese. And of course, all the clowns, magicians, fortune tellers, costume characters, caricature artists, stilt walkers, jugglers, hundreds and hundreds of all the bouncy house interactive inflatables like bungee runs and jousts and Velcro walls and obstacle courses and sumo wrestling, top towns, tons and tons of carnival games, and then rides, merry-go-rounds, Ferris wheels, rock climbing walls, bungee trampolines, combo express Ferris wheels, everything you could possibly think of. And we're a one-stop shop. So anything we'd help with any kind of party, large or small, we'd be happy to help any of your listeners or anybody they know.
I'm looking forward to when you get into the dunk tank.
You're waiting a really, really long time. I think Skippy the Clown needs to come back before that happens.
Uh-oh.
Throwing balls in a dunk tank is one thing. Sitting and being the donkey, not so fun for me.
Yeah, I bet. And you got to fill it up with like a hose and it's freezing cold. Yeah, not fun, but fun for everyone else. So what final thoughts can you share with our people? Obviously, you're a huge positive influence, not only in our community, but to all of the people that you've touched over the years. And I'm going to estimate it's tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people. What final thoughts can you offer to our listeners about getting involved in an Explorer program and how it really shaped your career?
So as I said in the beginning, exploring changed my entire life for the positive. Thank goodness my business has been very successful. It's been awesome. I've met lots of cool people. Exploring changed my life. I went from thinking I wanted to do law enforcement and become a police officer and become a cop, whatever you want to call it, to learning that there was more, that I liked other things. Not that I didn't like law enforcement and it doesn't interest me or still interests me to this day. There were things that I thought were more interesting or that I could be more beneficial in the world. And that's really how I chose the career I chose. But I think for anybody who's a young adult, whether they're in high school, and depending on whatever they think they want to do or they're not sure what they want to do, or if they have no clue, they're clueless, they have no direction on what they want. Exploring is a great opportunity to learn what you like, what you don't like, what you think you may like, what you want to find out you don't like. So it's an awesome opportunity where you could stick your toe in any water and test it out to see if this is for me. If you think you want to be a firefighter, you think you want to be a police officer, you think you want to be a pilot, or even a clown, there may be a post that's there that'll show you that you either like it or don't like it or love it. So I definitely would highly recommend calling. I don't even know how to inform people where they would even find out about exploring through Boy Scouts of America. I'm sure Marcus has the information. I would definitely highly recommend it to anybody. And I know we've mentioned leadership a lot. Exploring brings out the leader in young adults, and it definitely did a great job for me. And I'm proud to say I'm an explorer, and I talk about it in my career all the time.
Mitchell, thank you very much for continuing to be a leader in the community. For anyone who would like to reach out to Mitchell to see what he has to offer, he has an e-catalog. His website is celebrationauthority.com. And for anyone interested in learning about the Explorer program, their website, the Boy Scouts website, is pathwaytoadventure.org. And the organization goes up to the Wisconsin border, down to Gary, Indiana. It's huge. So if anyone's in the Chicago area, that's the Chicago one. If you're listening from a different part of the country, still go to that website. They can direct you to, if you're in Tulsa, Oklahoma, to whatever organization for the Boy Scouts that's in Tulsa, Oklahoma. So, Mitchell, thank you once again for coming out and telling our listeners about your experiences.
My pleasure, Skippy. Thank you very much.
As promised, I want to discuss a new firearm that's out there that will help people with hand strength. Anyone who's in the firearms industry knows that Smith & Wesson has a product line called the E-Z or EZ. It is designed for people with less hand strength than others. The slide is very easy to rack, as well as the magazine is very easy to load. These are hammer-fired firearms. They are not striker-fired, therefore they have an outside grip safety that someone has to actually depress in order for the gun to fire. There's another one out there that I found very interesting. Many years ago, Beretta came out with what they call the tip-up barrel. There is no racking the slide on a tip-up barrel type firearm. The magazine is loaded just like any other magazine, and there is a lever that pops the barrel up. The barrel part that faces the breech is empty. You would actually put in a round there, close it, and there's never any racking the slide. I love the design. I think it's great. Beretta currently has a tip-up design for a .32 auto and a .22 long rifle, and Taurus has similar calibers available. But Gersan, which is a Turkish company, is being imported by EAA, European American Arms, and they have the Gersan MC14T. That gun is a .380, which would be suitable for self-defense, and it has a tip-up barrel. There's a 13-round magazine. Feel free to check it out, research it, go to the EAA website, and you may be pleasantly surprised. I saw one at a gun store, and I played with the trigger a little bit. It's not a bad trigger. Sometimes guns that are made in Turkey get a bad rap. This one I don't think is a bad rap, so it is certainly suitable for self-defense. The other thing I want to discuss today is a couple updates in the law. First of all, I didn't realize this, but every October 1st, the Illinois State Police can modify the list of banned firearms. There are currently 170 plus guns on the assault weapons ban listed, and then there's other firearm features that are listed that are also banned. So future firearms with those features would also be illegal. If you have one of these firearms that is banned, you are supposed to, between October 1st, 2023 and December 31st, 2023, register them with the state police. And obtained from the FOIA fairies, so to speak, there is another little tidbit. Any assault weapon attachment could be an optic, could be a light, it could be a switch. Anything like that is illegal. It is new and amended unlawful use of weapons 720 ILCS 5/24. And if there's any assault weapons attachments, 50 caliber rifles, 50 caliber cartridges, must have also provided an endorsement affidavit signed under oath to the ISP no later than January 1st. So again, if you have these, you are grandfathered in. I am very concerned that the state police can modify their list of what is an assault weapon every year. That really puts gun owners in a bad spot. Additionally, let's talk about the Safety Act. The Safety Act eliminates cash bail in Illinois. On December 31st, 2022, the state Supreme Court put a stay in place saying, wait a minute, this might not be constitutional. We are going to say this is not implemented until the court case is heard. Well, the court case has been heard, and effective September 18th, 2023, it's kind of disappointing, and this may be detrimental to public safety, but cashless bail is coming to Illinois. The Supreme Court determined that it was constitutional. What that means is for petty crimes that aren't a threat to society, people are going to be either taken in, processed, or given a ticket and released immediately. So if you have a 16-year-old daughter and there's a peeping Tom and you call the police, they'll give the peeping Tom a ticket and then they'll leave. They have no authority to remove the peeping Tom from the premises. And then the peeping Tom continues to look in the window at your 16-year-old daughter. That is problematic. That's going to lead to people taking the law into their own hands. It's going to lead to violence, which is exactly the opposite of what Governor Pritzker and the legislature want. This law was passed under darkness at 4 a.m. when the entire state was sleeping. I have no idea if it was actually reviewed by our state representatives. So, there you have it, folks. That's your firearm update and your legal update. Stay tuned next week for another exciting episode. Thank you for tuning in.
We have monthly concealed carry license CCL classes in the northwest suburbs of Chicago. Dates can be seen at firearmmentor.com/classes. If you have a question, we can be reached at www.firearmmentorcard.com. That is our electronic business card, has all of our contact information and links in it. It's the easiest way to get a hold of us. Until next time, stay safe out there, and I'll see you at the shooting range. This is Marcus Melnick from Firearm Mentor signing off. The views expressed are not those of local community broadcasting, WYML LP, or its management, volunteers, or underwriters.